airport to Columbia, I wrote Abortina Dumina no Mamada and Alonia Desdemona. And those were the ones that we went with. I didn't begin to build the other ones until later. So this has been a project that's been long coming. Sorry for the language, it's just where I kind of was in my life, you know. And I used to fight.
Keeping it real.
And people used to say, oh, you can't say that. Now it's be like, well, why would God give me a voice and he tell me I can't say what I want to say? You know, I've grown a little bit, you know, now, but and it's been produced, it's been done, and one of the things was because this was a gift in the way that it was given to me, for me to sit down in, you know, in a matter of 12 hours and write this piece, it was totally channeled, and it was my energy and where I was at that time in my life, just going through a lot and trying to find myself. So even though the characters are not me, there's a part of me in all of the characters, if that makes sense. A time where, yes, I was feeling lost and I was angry and I was trying to find my, like, who am I, you know, and all of those things. And so those are very evident in a lot of the character work. So, yeah. That's how it came about.
You didn't know any nice, happy women, no?
Thank you for that. But one of the things that, for this time frame, because of the fact that it was about women, I kind of wanted to celebrate the women that people don't want to talk about. That was what, because we could all talk about the good, you know, like, hey, you know, I got my Gucci and, you know, I wanted to talk about the kind of woman that doesn't get the respect or the acknowledgement, or no one stops and says, you know what, you're beautiful, and those were the women that I really wanted to focus on, the kind that you don't want to talk about or take home to dinner. And that was basically the women that I wanted to just sort of bring to the forefront, because we're human, we have a right, and I don't care what you've been through. I mean, everybody has a right to be respected and loved, and they deserve all of the opportunity, you know. So I do know some good women. You have to see some other place for that. What else do I?
Any of the actresses got anything tonight?
This play means so much to me. I've been working with Dunbar Repertory Company for a lot of years now. I'm a veteran alumni with Dunbar Repertory Company, and Daryl put this play in my hands 10 years ago, and I said, we need to do this. And I kept begging him and begging him and begging him to do it. He said, not yet, you ain't ready yet, you ain't ready yet. So I'm like, well, I'm going to be ready for this play, but it came at the time when it needed to come, through everything that I've been through in my life, my learning, my growth, my experiences. I thank God for you, because these words really do embody what us as, I'm not going to say I'm a millennial, but I'm right above the millennial, but what we, it embraces the things that we go through, the hurts that we struggle with, the struggles that we, you know, I connect to a lot of it, and I'm also an 80s baby, so a lot of the different references and stuff like that, I had those parents that taught me that stuff, and I know that history, and I've done For Color Girls, and I've done all these other shows, and this play truly ministers to my spirit and to my soul, and I believe it's a game changer, and I thank God for you for creating this piece for me.
One of the things that I want to say is that this play has not been produced as much as it could have been, but it has been a vehicle or a tool for communication with the people in the community. I have gone to schools, female prisons, rehabs, where what you're saying is what and I think that to me is probably, as a playwright, besides, you know, being on Broadway, but something that touches you and gives back. And I told Daryl, I was like, you know, they don't have to play it hard, because I already bleed and cry and sweat and pound and kick and tantrum and all of that for these words. Like when I get up from writing, I am spent. it. I have given everything and left it on the pages. And that's why when I get a director, I never call them and say, oh, do it this way, I'd be like, take it, because I just have to get it off. You can do however you see it. And so I thank you for that, because anything that I write, that is my gift, I give it. My great-grandmother, she was 85 my entire life. She passed away at 105, but I don't know how she got there, because she was always 85. But she was an orator, and she told stories. That's all she did. And if you could, and when we were younger, we didn't really appreciate that, but she would tell a story. We would walk out the room, go out and play for half an hour, 45 minutes, come back, and she's still telling the story. Like we never left the room. And so I got it honest. And it was always in me to tell stories. I started out as an actress, and I went to writing because I had always been writing like poems and short stories and things. But I wanted to write the type of stories that I could narrate that spoke to my experience, because I grew up playing little white girls, you know, with Glinda the Good Witch and, you know, Miss Fizzlebaum, you know, these people that their experience was nothing like mine. You know, and not to say that our experience is always hard and downtrodden and stuff like that, but I think it speaks to a part of us that knows trauma, no matter what part it is, that knows pain. And so the story doesn't have to match in any sort of way. It's just we connect with it and coming through it, because we are resilient, and that's what we do. And we feel the pain and we don't think about it. We keep coming. And the one that touches me the most is Mordina, because she's like, even though my daughter was a prostitute, did somebody stop and say hello or give her? Because these are, but it's easy for us to sit back and be like, oh, you know, don't be like her. But what keeps us from being her? My mother used to always tell me, it's her today, it could be you tomorrow. So I always have to keep that up front.
I have a question in regards to just the language, because I myself, I'm a poet, and I go to a lot of open mics in the city, and you know, for open mics and poetry in New York, you can kind of say what you want to say on the stage. But in theater, it's a little bit different. They want you to kind of have a little bit polished so that it's open to all ears. So did you ever have that fear of introducing your play and people being afraid to even want to do it, or you being afraid of how it was going to be received when it was performed?
Okay, I'm gonna answer that, but I gotta like go back and get like 2 seconds back. The first play that I ever wrote and submitted to like a competition, I was dared. A friend of mine dared me. It was like, oh, I bet you won't do it. I was like, don't be daring me. So because they dared me, I sent it in. I sent it into NYU, went to the award ceremony, was sitting there. I didn't think I was going to win. I didn't even do my hair. Like, I put on the bad hair, you know, hat day. I'm just like, I'm showing up so that they could check me off the list, whatever. And so when they called the name of the play, P.S. Right Back, which was the first play, they said, P.S. Right Back. And I turned to this white dude, because I was the only black person in there. I was like, oh my God, somebody got the same name as my play. You know? And so I say that because when I started this, I didn't exactly know what I was doing. I knew that I had a voice. I knew that there was something that I wanted to say. I was bursting at the seams because I've always never really spoken my mind, never really said what I wanted to, and paper allowed me to do that. So when I wrote Peaches, I wasn't fearful in terms of whatever the rules were, because I'll tell you in a minute, I write what I like. If you don't like it, you leave. And that's kind of the attitude that I went in with it, because I was like, I will have an audience somewhere. But if I'm, you know, if everyone is trying to manipulate and tell me what you can say and what you can't say, I won't write anything. So when I wrote it, and I don't do spoken word, because people be like, Lisa, I'd be like, I don't do spoken word. I write it. You can do it. I'll write it. And that's how I kind of go about it. But this kind of came out spoken word because that's how it came to me. And it was on me to just sort of do it. I mean, I could have gave you guys like awesome monologues without the rhythm, but that's just the way it came.
You mentioned that this play was at some high schools or just colleges?
I took it to high schools and colleges, so I have a cut and uncut version.
Well, I know this was the
I mean,
this is the cut version. But there's a cut version for high school, or not really?
Wait, you guys have the
High school is curse worse than adults.
okay.
What?
Don't say, oh my God, don't say that in front of, I think I have church people here, don't say, I don't want to. Right, but I have the clean version. I cut a lot of words.
Ooh.
I cut a lot.
Chaba.
I mean, here's the thing.
You would teach it too?
I
Me
left
too.
what was necessary in order to make the point.
Girl, I'd be
'Cause,
like, what did you just say?
Listen, we black folks, we not gonna go up to somebody, stomping our feet and be like, cutie pie. You know, you coming like with it. So if it was necessary for that character, it was left. But yes, there was a lot cut. A tremendous amount. Like I did a word count. I cut like 100 and something curse words.
Wow. Y'all have to know that a lot of Lisa will tell you, when we were down at the festival, I was walking around, Lisa, ooh, you walking around with Lisa? You're not going to do a play, are you? People were scared. There's some people that are scared to death to do Lisa.
Wow. And that's okay. Because here's the thing, it's not for everybody, but then people know my work too. You know, it's hard to steal my work. Because they be like, oh, that sounds like some Creed. So I have my own signature. It's really difficult to steal my stuff. But not every, I have evolved. I'm now over 50. You know, when I wrote this, I was in my 30s. So I've grown, I've matured. I think he was telling you about faces and my fists.
Yeah.
You guys would love it. It's
It's very clean.
It's all proper. No, it's actually they got some Negroes in there. You know, it's 1955.
But it's
on
clean.
The heels of Emmett Till's death, so we're dealing with Jim Crow. You know, but it's no, you know, because back then you wouldn't have had. So the stories about Harry Wills, who was a boxer back in the 1920s and 30s. You guys know he was heavyweight champion 6 times. Well, colored heavyweight champion. He wanted to go for World Heavyweight Championship. Jack Dempsey wouldn't step into the ring. So what I did was I took it out in 1930, put it in 1955 in Harlem, dilapidated gym, which sort of is this guy's life. And this young kid from Mississippi comes, stows away in the gym and wants him to train him. And so how do you give something to a young kid when life has just beat you? Everything that you've set your life up for, you don't have. So it's a different piece. It's, you know, this is, so that's the one that Jarrell wants to do. And a lot of people are interested in the play. It's a really, really good play. So I hope you come back out and see that as well.
You hear that, Mark?
So, and I don't want to keep everybody too long because I don't know about y'all. I'm hungry. Angry.
Could you just talk about the, one of the things I found distinctive in this form of play is that instead of having one of the black girls talk about what white girls do in relationships with black men, you brought the white girl into.
She ain't white, she just hiding it.
That was very different. I wonder if you
We know Mel,
why you
she
did
ain't
it
white.
that way.
Right? She like, I'm light skinned. That's I'm light skinned. Toss over.
I'm going to say this before I answer that. The young lady that I had played the very first time that I did it, really cute. Her, Martha Madison, she's on the soap operas. I can't remember which one, but if you look her up, you'll know. And I saw her, I was like, I want you in my play. And so when she went there and saw all them black women in there, she was like, I'm not doing this. You know, she was scared to death. And I said, look at me. Ain't nobody gonna mess with you. Just look at me. And so, I got you. Look at me. And so I did that because I needed us to look at ourselves, us women. If I would have had a black woman saying it, it would have been a little different. it's something else when a white woman starts saying, oh, you can't keep a man cause, you know, you talk too much and you be trying to change him and, you know, you be like that. And what happens is the energy always gets so high during that thing that black women do. They get their bristles up, they be like, all right, itch, you got to leave the theater, you know, and so that is the type of way that I wanted us to look at ourselves without the mask, you know, without black women saying it to soothe, because we'll say it and soothe each other like, girl, you know, the white woman is a trick, you know, right? We take each other's side, but you get a white woman, she gonna say, and y'all gonna be like, but I'm hoping that it not just, it pisses you off to the point where it makes us look at ourselves, not just to say, this is who we are in terms of putting us in a box, but to look at, to self-evaluate, that's all. I just think it's easier coming from a white woman because, you know, if I said it, I would have been kind to my sisters. I had to put it in a white woman in order to really like smack it to you or everyone, you know.
She did a good job.
Very good job.
One more question?
Hi, Tracy. I was wondering, how did you come up with the title to each monologue?
Oh, you know, and a lot of them were said not the way I wrote. I tried to, what is that, like acronym, spell them, like key spells, so that, you know, it's Panada Sonata, Abortina Dumina No Mamada, Alonia Defdemona, Decima Lapima. So there are, you know, which one? Despa Obsessa Fantalia Manda. Like I said, it was given to me. That was kind of like the way that it came. Like the names, they sort of had a set story up. You know what I'm saying? And that was what I went with. So I got the names to the women first, and then I built the story around them. Abortina Dumina No Mamada, like she ain't never, like that one I did that morning in like 35, 40 minutes. It was given to me, and I'm telling you, when I finished, I was like, oh my God. Like if I did, I would be platinum if I was like, you know, Mary J or something. You know what I mean? So it's just the way that it comes. I don't, and who else? Which you did Chris, say it again. Christy. It's Christy. La Crandu. I haven't, because yours is never really done, so I was so happy to see that. I was like sitting back there, I was almost in tears. She cried.
Yeah.
Because that was a little bit of me questioning and finding God in my life, you know, because sometimes you got to go through stuff. And sometimes we got to get out of our own way. And sometimes we keep saying, I know what to do. I got it. And God, he let you go through things so that you can get to him. And that was probably one of the ones that was me crying out, like, please, God, like, have you forgotten me? I need help. And because it was a cross between Christian and the Quran. Yeah. So in terms of where do I go, what do I do? God, don't leave me. Yeah. So that one was probably one of the ones that was my plea to him for prayer.
Lisa has some books.
Why did you have Puncharella take him back?
Well, why did I have Puncharella take him back? Because that is the cycle. Because that is the cycle. Because here's the thing, you know, we go through whatever. When you get with black women, sometimes we ride or die. You know what I'm saying? And I used to brag about that. I'd be like, I go down with the sinking ship, and then I got older and I was like, damn, I go down with the sinking ship. You know, I need to get off this boat. You know, but it's like a badge of honor. you know, in terms of, because I'm strong, you know, and we attach labels because that's what people give us, and we attach these labels. I'm strong, you know, I'm ride or die, you know, and yeah, and I think we do that, and we hold on because we see potential. Sometimes we really, and I think sometimes we just don't believe what we be seeing in front of our face, because I think somewhere between here and the brain, it just gets twisted with the stuff we think it is, and because we haven't learned to listen, right? So we keep trying to talk it. This is. He's gonna be good. He's gonna get better, and he's telling you he ain't. And until we listen, we keep going back because our stuff gets between here and here. It gets a little confused. We add our little, you know, sauce on it and think it's gonna, you know, taste better, and it doesn't. So she had to go back in terms of the story because her lesson is not where it needs to be yet. Right. She hasn't learned to listen. And that's what my great grandmother would say. A man will tell you everything you need to know about him. You just gotta learn to listen. Yeah. And so it was easy for her to get to the anger, right? Because she was like, yeah, not too bad, like hot grapes, you know. But then he's, I'm sorry, because we want that. We need to feel that love, and we're. But here's the thing. That's not a bad thing. That's not a negative until we don't know how to use it. Because here you have to realize we're the chosen people, right? We were the ones who were put here on earth, so we know how to take care of it. So we're like, we have that nurturing that just doesn't leave us. We just need to know when it's good for us, when it works in our favor in order to spread and multiply and make, you know, things are lovely. Not when it comes to people abusing us and we're holding on to it and have that be a rationale for holding on to something that's bad. So we're very forgiving people. We've always been forgiving people, and that's not just with our men, that's with a lot of people. So her taking him back until she gets to the point where she's not like, I don't love him, but I love myself more. And that's why he takes nothing from her, because she has nothing to give. She says, you take nothing, which means I'm in this because I need it to be something. Her illusion is not the relationship. She's staying in it for a whole lot of other reasons. Oh, my mom's plugging. So next week I'll be heading out to Arkansas, where I'm doing a play called The Artifact, and it's going to be at the Momentary in Bentonville. And so The Artifact is about a professor who works at an all-white university and has for many, many years, calls back one of his students who is a art curator who started out curating white art, now in the last couple of years has started curating only black shows and has not had much success. She's now living back with her mother. And anyway, he wants to open up a museum and is looking for the perfect artifact, and so she's interested until she finds out that he wants to open up a slave museum. Oh no. And that is the, right there, that is the plan. Do we move on, or do we still, we do not let them forget the past, and we do not forget the past. And that is the conversation. That is the conversation. So that's, I won't tell you at the end because y'all might come and see it and be like, oh, she ruined it. So I won't tell you. Yes?
I have one question. What made you think to make the little lady in red to do road rage?
Oh, okay. That wasn't the only one. Okay,
that's you know.
I had a little red Eagle Talon, and people used to tell me when I got in that car, my attitude changed. So anyway, I got pulled over. Listen, I don't even know how to explain it. I got pulled over, and I got a ticket, and the man came to, when the trooper came to, he said, "Ma'am, you're under arrest." And I started unbuttoning my shirt. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "You must say you want to see my breasts, because I know you ain't say I'm under arrest." you at 130. So that's all I'm saying. I think in my other life, in my next life, I was probably a because everybody calls me speed racer. I slowed down. The fines that I got, but when I lived in New York, I did have road rage, and you know every little thing bothered me. And so what would happen is, because road rage doesn't leave you like just because you get off the highway. I would be in small little towns like, why do you got a lawnmower out here? You know. Yeah, that one was kind of like me. And then when I moved to Georgia, it took me about a year and a half to get out of the road because I would be going down a country road like next to a tractor, like, you know. You know.
And traffic in Georgia is...
Well, not on the side road. I was, you know, and I used to talk about it. I used to be like, y'all just stopped driving a tractor like 2 years ago because nobody out here can drive, you know. So, but yeah, the car one was fun for me. So.
And you were also afraid of attraction over here too?
No, so hers comes from, it comes from, I had a best friend, Michael Collins in New York, and he was dating this woman, and he would tell me stories about her, and I would laugh, and I would ask questions, and he would think, you know, he said, what is wrong? You asking questions? Like, how many times did she come? How long did she knock? You know, and I got, and what'd you do? You know what? And so the story was so hilarious to me. I wrote it, but I think all women, you know, go out and see a man and we start being like, ooh, what would he look like at 60? And we sit back in the chair, applesauce. I personally think it's normal. I mean, but because that's my imagination, so my mind never shuts off. You know, I have to take medication to go to sleep because my mind doesn't stop me. It's always, and when the ancestors wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I have to get up and I go and I write, and then I turn around and I say, okay, guy, I gave you an hour and a half. Can I go back to sleep because I got to be somewhere at 9 o'clock? You know, and he'll let me go back to sleep. So my mind doesn't turn off. And yes, so I might see a dude, he might look cute. I'd be like, ooh, okay, yeah, he could work. I could, you know. I build it in my head. That don't mean he built it. You know, they say it's a bit of us in all our writing.
This is my first time knowing about you and your writing and your play. You said something that you were on Broadway.
No, that's next for me.
Okay.
I'm speaking that.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, y'all speaking.
Have you written anything on Broadway, or you said you act?
No.
Okay.
I think I threw that in there to make a point about something. Okay. So I'm sorry anybody who got hung up on that. I have not been to Broadway yet, but that's coming tomorrow.
Yes.